The Big Green of Dartmouth from Hanover, New Hampshire, the northernmost campus in the Ivy League, against North Carolina, the ACC. Dartmouth's coach, Reggie Minton, in his first season without a freshman on the squad. He has a pair of very good seniors, the Green Trees, 6'5" Paul Anderson, 6'5" Brian Burke. Anderson, the leading scorer from a year ago, averaging almost 18 points a game. Great shooter from almost anywhere on the court. He has played 4 years with this man, Brian Burke, a muscle man and a jumper extraordinaire, leading the team with 20 points and 8 rebounds a game. They'll be at a serious disadvantage in height. Carolina's Towers, 6'9", Sam Perkins, 6'11" center, Brad Doherty. Dean Smith's team built around the fundamentals. Brad Doherty, a key man in Carolina's defensive glasswork, which in turn gets the fast break moving. Point guard Kenny Smith, 26 assists in his 5 games, and he's only a freshman. Senior forward Matt Doherty, 23 assists so far, and the 2-time All-American Sam Perkins, almost 15 points a game and 10 block shots. The Big Green of Dartmouth against the Baby Blue of North Carolina, coming your way next. They call this place Blue Heaven. Hi, everyone. This is Paul Cameron. With me tonight is Dan Bonner, our expert analyst. Dan, a real David and Goliath story tonight to talk about.
Certainly is, Paul. The Dartmouth Big Green, they're obviously a little short in the talent department in comparison with North Carolina, but it's not often that you get a chance to play against the #1 team in college basketball in this kind of a big-time atmosphere, so I'm sure they'll be excited about it.
News just a moment ago that Sam Perkins may not be starting. He's got strep throat, and we'll see what that does to the North Carolina team.
I don't think it'll change North Carolina very much in terms of this evening's basketball game. Perkins will probably play. It all depends on how he feels in warm-up, but I think you'll see the Tar Heels get out, try to get the kinks out after an 11-day layoff for exams. They'll be pressing Dartmouth all over the court, playing the normal Carolina style.
Dan, what does Dartmouth have to do to win this game tonight?
Dartmouth, I think, is going to have to try to control the game with offensive tempo. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to hold the ball, but they're going to try to work each possession for a very good shot. They're probably going to try to keep the score in the 40s or 50s and avoid the turnovers.
Okay, keep those costly turnovers from happening. We'll see what transpires. North Carolina and Dartmouth coming your way next. Scrambling defense in North Carolina. And we got another turnover.
It's interesting. That's the second traveling violation called against Dartmouth in 2 possessions. Traveling happens to be a point of emphasis for the officials this year as you get a look at Dartmouth coach Reggie Minton. Twice now, Dartmouth players have moved their pivot foot.
Reggie Minton, an assistant of the Air Force for 17 years. Great ball passing inside. The shot missed by Popson, rebounded by Doherty. And there's the board work. Tipped up and in.
Actually looked like the person that gave that ball the big impetus. There's Popson. He's going to get credit for the basket, but number 35 for Dartmouth, Anderson got a hand on that and tipped it in.
Well, they're crediting Doherty with that. Brad Doherty for the tip in.
Now, Dartmouth needs to move the ball and move themselves. They're allowing Carolina to get into trap position.
There's Paul Anderson. Nice move. Paul Anderson inside. 6'5" senior from Jamestown, North Dakota. There's Jordan. Jordan looks inside to Brad Doherty. Popson telegraphed his intentions on that one. Here comes Dartmouth. And Burke inside. Brian Burke. He's there. Well, there's no real true pivot man, no center on this team. Jordan pulls one up. Jordan saw the foul coming, I think.
Jordan had the ball in an excellent shooting position. Dartmouth, it appears, is running back as you get a look at Coach Dean Smith, Bill Guthridge on the bench, along with Eddie Fogler, the Carolina Brain Trust. Dartmouth appears to be very conscious of going back and defending the basket. They're trying not to give up the layups, and as a result, Carolina has gotten some easy baskets.
Michael Jordan, 64% from the free throw line this year. Not quite as good as he's had in the last 2 seasons. He's a deadly shooter when he wants to be. Worked on his shot this year. Oh, there's the trap. Full court pressure now by North Carolina. Bounced on the baseline. North Carolina's ball. Interesting, Dan, that turnovers have really killed this team. Dartmouth has committed 76 turnovers. Their opposition has only committed 57 so far in 6 games.
They're not going to be able to keep that up and be a successful team this year. That time they inbounded the ball to the worst possible place.
5 trips down the court. Dartmouth turns the ball over 3 times. There's Matt Doherty, puts one up.
Getting an idea of the size advantage that North Carolina has at all positions. They've gotten good inside play. They've gotten a couple of rebounds, and that time, once again, Doherty just shot over a much shorter defender.
6'8" height helps him on that one. 17-19 remaining in the first half of play. From the wing, no good. Dartmouth tries to tip. There's Burke. Burke almost, well, he got one on the arm there from Brad Doherty.
Good inside hustle by Burke. He and Anderson are very good players on the board as Sam Perkins is entering the basketball game. Pops and checks out.
Well, you could hear the applause coming on that one. Sam Perkins leads North Carolina in rebounds so far this season. And he is second only by a smidgen to Michael Jordan in the scoring department.
Carolina has to be conscious and block their opponents out. Anderson and Burke and Schroeder may be smaller than their Carolina counterparts, but they all go to the boards hard, and the Tar Heels are going to have to be blocking out.
This is Brian Burke, 6'5" senior, misses the first of 2 from Warwick, Rhode Island. A real muscle man, as we mentioned at the top of the show. He has been the leading scorer so far through 6 games. And he cans the second one. It's 10-5, North Carolina leading. And we got a blocking foul impeding the progress. That's Kenny Smith, charged with the foul. North Carolina, Kenny Smith, the point guard, a freshman, Queens, New York.
I think the Tar Heels were surprised because Dartmouth put a little full court pressure of their own. I don't think North Carolina expected that. Smith was out of control as he made the pass. Excellent defensive play.
North Carolina looking to get the ball back. There's Burke at the top of the key. That's a little too far out for his shot.
Look how far Carolina's defense has the big green pushed out. They need to be closer than that to start their offense.
And we could get a 5-second count if they're not careful. Need a little help here. And the tap. Michael Jordan.
Great defense.
Michael Jordan will take it. Michael Jordan, 6'6" junior from Wilmington, North Carolina. 6 points in the game for Jordan. Carolina leads 12-5.
Another Dartmouth turnover. Dartmouth has more turnovers than they have chances at the basket.
And this is the thing, really, Dan, that Coach Minton did not want to see happen. There's another one. 4 or 5 turnovers in 8 trips down the court.
So one thing that they came into the game knowing they could not do. Coach Minton, I'm sure, is going to tell him that. He's in his first season at Dartmouth, former assistant at the Air Force Academy.
Did not get a chance to recruit when he got to Dartmouth late in the spring. Reggie Minton has got to play North Carolina very carefully, he told me. Of course, this is good experience for his young men. Oh, the lob, the alley-oop. Credit Kenny Smith with the assist. Credit Brad Doherty for the 4th point of the game in his personal column. It's 14-5, North Carolina.
To this point, North Carolina has been able to do anything they wanted on the offensive end. They're utilizing their height advantage very, very well.
And we've got Buzz Peterson in for Michael Jordan right now on the last substitution. There's the trap, the scramble defense. Ball at the point. And I think Dartmouth really has to get that ball in just a little bit closer to the basket.
Dartmouth, I'm sure they're running their normal offense, but they're running it much further from the basket than normal. So when they make a couple of passes, they're not in shooting position.
There's Brian Burke with the ball.
Good defense by North Carolina.
Look at the defense suck out what the offense had. Near turnover. What's the call? North Carolina called Matt Doherty. Doherty called for his first personal foul. That's the 3rd team foul for UNC.
Carolina foul on number 44, Matt.
North Carolina looking to run away with things early. It's 14-5. We'll be back with more from Carmichael Auditorium in Chapel Hill. This telecast presented by the authority of the Atlantic Coast Conference and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this game without the express written consent of the Atlantic Coast Conference is strictly prohibited. Paul Cameron along with Dan Barner. Blue Heaven on a Wednesday night. Score 14-5, North Carolina. Turnovers in the season, North Carolina averaging 17 a game, Dartmouth averaging 12. In this game, Dartmouth 5 turnovers, and Dartmouth has shot 2 for 3, but not many chances in the basket. There's one, and it's Burke.
Very good move by Burke. He recognized the double team, penetrated the double team, found an open area and scored. Dartmouth looked like they were a little bit nervous at the start of the game. Hopefully they're over that now.
Kenny Smith going to shoot from long range. Rebound Burke. Brian Burke seems to be doing it all for Dartmouth right now.
Very effective block out. He kept Doherty off the board.
There's a pass knocked out of bounds by the quick hands of Matt Doherty. Doherty, you know, he is everywhere. Here comes Jordan back in. And Matt Doherty goes out. Michael Jordan, the All-American, won the national championship. Remember that 17-footer against Georgetown 2 years ago. That's Paul Anderson looking for the shot. Could not get it against Sam Perkins. Perkins very quick for his size.
Very good defense by Perkins there. Dartmouth is going to have to get some help from Anderson.
And look how far out of the paint everybody is. Brian Burke, the center at the top. Steal by Kenny Smith. Here goes Lightning. Smith pulls up wisely. Brad Doherty. Sam Perkins, left-hander. The patented hook by Sam. His first 2 points of the game. Carolina leads 16-7.
Transition basket off the turnover, and that was caused by North Carolina's pressure defense.
Drive underneath, and it will be counted by Brian Burke. Burke, the senior, 220 pounds, going against Sam Perkins. Perkins charged with his first. It's North Carolina's 4th team foul. They're going to set Brad Doherty down for just a minute. He's the sophomore, 6'11". And into the game comes number 24, Joe Wolf. You get a look at Brad Doherty.
Basket by Scott Schroeder. He will shoot one.
Thus far, when Dartmouth has been able to get past the first trap into an open situation, as Schroeder did that last time, they've been able to get good opportunities. Here's Dartmouth showing a little bit of full court pressure themselves now.
And Schroeder connects. Now a 16-10 game. Buzz Peterson, Michael Jordan.
Dartmouth stays back, packs it in the lane.
And the shot by Buzz Peterson is good. Kenny Smith on the assist. The freshman leading the team in assists so far this year. 18-10. Dartmouth trying to pull it back. Big rebound by Sam Perkins.
Kilroy thought for a minute he had an open shot, but then Michael Jordan was right there.
Well, there's Jordan just hanging in the air, waiting for the foul.
Substitution, Steve Hale, number 25.
Foul called on Paul Anderson.
Replacing number 30, Kenny Smith.
And we got Kenny Smith going out. Steve Hale coming back in.
North Carolina, Paul, does a great job getting the ball up the court and getting it quickly into scoring position. Jordan, excellent move to get position inside, and then watch him hang in the air. Draws the foul from Anderson.
You thought hang time was only important in football.
Dartmouth substitution number 30, Hassett.
Michael Jordan 3 for 3 tonight. Hassett comes in. Hassett wearing number 30 for Dartmouth.
Ron Jones, number 24, also in the ball game for Dartmouth, as the Big Green is going to try to keep some fresh troops in there against the North Carolina continual substitution.
Michael Jordan with 8 points. North Carolina 20-10 lead.
It's North Carolina with a full court press after the made free throw.
And there's a good pass. The lead pass to Brian Burke, who lays it up and in. He beat the freshman that time.
I'm sure Coach Smith is going to have something to say to Joe Wolf about that. That's the pass you don't want to give up.
Very good pass. Dartmouth down by 8. Michael Jordan takes that famous step and hits. Jordan with 10.
Dartmouth has switched defenses. They were in a man-to-man that trip down the court, but no matter what they do, the result seems to be the same.
There's the double team. Buzz Peterson gets the ball. As he's falling to the floor, he's fouled by number 24, Ron Jones, who's coming to the game.
Now Jones is going to bring the ball across half court, and the mistake he makes is that he picks up his dribble. Excellent trap.
And Buzz Peterson's hands, trying to get the ball on the fast break to Jordan.
Peterson and Hale did a nice job. They trapped him just as he crossed the half-court line, so they actually had a three-party trap, the two of them and the half-court line. Jones should not have picked up his dribble. His teammates need to recognize that, need to come to an open area where he can make an easy pass to them.
Almost like the old John Wooden at UCLA, the trap just past the midcourt line. North Carolina, possession of the ball and a 10-point lead, 12-41 in the first half.
Dartmouth back in the zone.
Let's see how North Carolina attacks the zone here. Jordan in the middle is a cutter to the wing. Here's Steve Hale, the lefty. Steve Hale misses. Rebound, Kilroy for Dartmouth. Now North Carolina going with that man-on-man pressure. This is their bread and butter. Now Paul Anderson is trying to get a screen high to go low.
Burke is practically out of bounds when he catches the ball. You can't start your offense from that position. North Carolina doing an excellent job with their superior quickness and athletic skills.
And there's quick hands there by Buzz Peterson, who gets the steal. He dishes off to Hale. Steve Hale, his first 2 points of the game. Credit Buzz Peterson on a great steal.
Nice fast break. Carolina makes the defensive play and then comes down the court and gets the easy basket on the picture book.
And there's the trap again.
And again, Dartmouth picks up the dribble out in the midcourt area where they're easy traps.
The Big Green wants to cut the court in half and play that steady, patient half-court offense, and yet North Carolina is matching them all over the floor.
Got a foul inside against Joe Wolf. He was trailing Burke through the lane. Burke made a good cut.
And we got Matt Doherty coming into the game, substituting for Michael Jordan.
Carolina foul on number 24, Joe Wolf.
There's 11:25 left in the first half. North Carolina leading by a dozen points, 24-12. More action coming your way in just a minute.
This ACC telecast is a presentation of Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions in association with ESPN.
Paul Cowan along with Dan Bonner. Dan, I mentioned earlier, this is Blue Heaven. Well, that's the Blue North Pole right there. We want to welcome our season ticket viewers tonight. This ACC basketball game, a presentation of Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions in conjunction with ESPN. Field goal shooting, Dartmouth and North Carolina push there, but really, Dartmouth has not had the chances that North Carolina's had.
Dartmouth hasn't had the chances because they've been getting themselves into that kind of a situation. A good trap by Carolina.
6 turnovers forced by the Tar Heels now. Matt Doherty looks, passes inside to the freshman. Joe Wolf hits. However, the foul was called. The ball was dead at that point.
Lou Mosier being very emphatic about that particular call. Looks like he got Tim Hassett.
Dartmouth foul on number 30, Tim Hassett.
It was on Tim Hassett. That's the first on Hassett and 4 now on Dartmouth. Michael Jordan returning to the lineup after a brief rep. Coach Reggie Menton from the Air Force Academy. He was there 13 years. Here it's a team without any freshmen. Didn't get a chance to do any recruiting this year. A team that finished last in the Ivy League for the last 3 years. Perkins with the left-handed. No mistaking that.
North Carolina is doing an excellent job on offense. Notice their cuts. They're good, crisp moves across the lane that are creating the easy opportunities. And on the other hand, watch Dartmouth cut toward the ball. It seems to be sort of a slow motion thing. Not really good hard cuts.
And notice the switch on defense. There's a great hand steal by Steve Hale, and the foul is called.
Kilroy, who committed that foul, you get a look at Joe right there, number 20. Philadelphia high school star, and I'm sure Coach Reggie Minton is telling him you have to go to the basketball. Kilroy stood there. The person who went to the basketball was Steve Hale, and that's why he got the steal.
North Carolina shooting 11 for 15. Dartmouth 5 for 7. The shooting percentage is not bad, but again, they're not giving themselves chances. There's a rare turnover by North Carolina by Matt Doherty. Substitution now.
Brad Doherty coming back in the ball game. Joe Wolf going to take a seat. Once again, man-to-man pressure, full court.
This time it looks like Dartmouth breaks it. Kilroy dribbles down. Now they really haven't established anything on offense just yet. North Carolina's been switching their defense. The pressure one time, Doherty. Next time, Jordan.
Once again, nobody's really coming to the basketball. Anderson that time was down inside, really battling with Perkins for position. But when Kilroy picked up the ball, Anderson had to come and get it. By the time Jones got all the way across the court, it was 5 seconds.
Perkins from the top. Good shooter from there. Misses.
Nice rebound by Jones.
Dartmouth 11 turnovers. North Carolina only 3. 26-12. Tar Heels leading. Top ranked in one poll, second ranked in another. Just under 10 minutes remaining in the first half of play. And there is Brian Burke, the block by Sam Perkins. Perkins' 11th block of the season.
What a great pass by Michael Jordan.
Great feed, Doherty into Perkins. Perkins with 6 points now. Matt Doherty, the senior, to Sam Perkins, the senior. Great bit of ball movement. I think I saw a smile on Dean Smith's face.
Once again, the trap. Again, nobody comes to the ball. Dartmouth was fortunate to keep it.
Dartmouth had victories over Connecticut College in their opener. Victory over Colgate. The narrow loss the last time out against Massachusetts to Minutemen. There's a bad pass off the leg of Green. Nope. Call it Dartmouth's ball. And we've got Kenny Smith coming back in. Sam Perkins getting a rest.
Hobson's back in the game as well. Here comes Peterson.
And Cecil Exum, who's had limited playing time. He is a junior, of course, 6'6". Sorry, I called him a junior. He is a senior. 9:13 remaining. Dean Smith shuffling his troops in and out.
Good, strong move by Schroeder. He may have gotten a foul there. It wasn't called, but he made a nice, strong move to the basket, created something offensively. Dartmouth needs to do a little more of that.
Now, if the Big Green can get that going, they may stay in this ball game by halftime. And the push with the body, that time by Burke. Burke charged with his first foul. Dean Smith looking on. Substitution in now. They're going to sit Paul Anderson down. 28-14, North Carolina inbounding the ball. Nice pass. Hobson missed. And Brad Doherty called for reaching over the back. Second foul on Big Brad.
An inbounds pass call is a perfect indication of the problems that Dartmouth is facing in the size department. Just lobbed it up to Popson, who was taller than anybody else, and got it and very nearly got a basket.
Coach Reggie mentioned you saw him. Menton told me that he's bringing his team here and just learning the players right now. He's only had 6 games as their head coach. There's the trap just before the half-court line. Kenny Smith, big hands there.
Doherty walked as he caught the basketball. Need to catch that ball and make a good jump stop with 2 feet. That way you're sure you're going to stop.
Matt Doherty comes back in. Cecil Exum gets about 2 minutes of playing time.
Get a look at Aaron Hill coming in the lineup for Dartmouth.
Inbounding the ball for Dartmouth is number 32, Andy Gruninger. Turnovers, Dartmouth 12 now.
Comes in for number 35, Gabe Hobson.
Dean Smith wants to get just about everybody in his lineup tonight.
Looks like everybody's going to get an opportunity to play, that's for sure.
8:31 to go in the first half. The trap, good pass that time. 2 men open. Gruninger dribbling the ball. Back to the point. Stop. Gruninger again.
Good cut to the ball by Gruninger.
And fast hands by Doherty. Almost got the steal. Shot no good. Long arms. Brad Doherty. Rebound. Here comes Matt Doherty. He stops and he's fouled.
Foul's going to be against Schroeder. Coming from behind, getting his hand on the ball. Sam Perkins did a great job getting down and filling the lane. I think that's where Doherty was going.
Foul on number 33, Scott Schroeder.
It's Schroeder's first.
Team 7.
And they go to the 1-and-1 now.
Matt Doherty at the line, shooting 2.
You know, Matt Doherty was voted as the best defensive player, the best screener on the team, and yet all summer long he worked on his shooting. He's shooting currently 73% on the free throw line.
It's a very, very valuable man for the North Carolina Tar Heels. He always seems to be in there getting the big rebound. He's a great passer. He's very unselfish.
23 assists on the season. And now 4 points for Matt Doherty. Tar Heels leading 30-14 with just under 8 minutes remaining. We're in Chapel Hill tonight. home of the top-ranked Tar Heels. Dartmouth, the Gruninger, out on the point. Good save. Into the waiting hands of Kenny Smith. Good pass to Matt Doherty, who misses.
Dartmouth had a good offensive series the last time down the court. They didn't score, but they moved the ball well, got a good shot.
And there's a nice shot by number 30, Tim Hassett. His first 2 points of the game. Hassett, a 6'4" junior from Montclair, New Jersey. You know, one thing, Dan, I've noticed that Ron Jones, acting as a point guard for Dartmouth, has really seemed to give the team a little lift the last couple of minutes. He's a little bit faster, and that helps. A right-handed hook that time by Perkins.
Dartmouth back to the man-to-man, really has some matchup problems. Perkins at 6'9" is too big inside for anybody. Carolina doing a nice job recognizing.
And don't you know the NBA scouts drool when they see a man who's left-handed, can hit the left-handed hook, go to his right hand and put it through. Sam Perkins with 8 points in the game.
Now Doherty's outside guarding Jones. There's a mismatch somewhere. Dartmouth was trying to find it. That was where it was.
Carolina substitution number 23, M.Jordan.
North Carolina leading this contest 32-16. 6:45 remaining. Stay with us. And while we were away, Scott Schroeder missed the front end of the
telecast is a presentation of Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions in association with ESPN.
And while we were away, Scott Schroeder missed the front end of a 1-and-1. North Carolina took the ball the length of the floor. Michael Jordan drove and connected on the bucket. He was fouled in the process, and the free throw was good. So Michael Jordan is now standing in the game with 15 points. Our next ACC basketball game will be Tuesday, December 27th at 7 o'clock. It's the Gator Bowl tournament in Jacksonville, Florida. The Jacksonville Dolphins will be challenging the Villanova Wildcats. Exciting basketball action continues at 9 o'clock then with the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest playing the Auburn Tigers. At 9 o'clock the following night, the winners will battle for the Gator Bowl title. I hope you'll be with us. Check your local listings. ACC basketball telecast will tip off the air on Wednesday, January 4th at 7 o'clock. It's the Virginia Powers with the UVA Cavaliers taking on the Virginia Tech Hokies. And at 9 o'clock, more basketball action in Raleigh, where the North Carolina State Wolfpack, defending national champs, will challenge the number 8 ranked Maryland Terrapins. ACC basketball is underway right here. We have 6:35 remaining, 35-16 score. Paul Cameron along with Dan Bonner. And Dan, Michael Jordan has done what we all expected him to do, but all the other Tar Heels, the remaining cast of characters, sure have hurt Dartmouth.
North Carolina has come out and has seized control of the basketball game, and basically that's what they had to do. You don't want to let a team like Dartmouth stay in the game with you and begin believing that they're going to be able to beat you. What has happened, Jordan has come out, he's 4 for 4 from the field, he's 5 for 5 from the free throw line for 13 points. The story, though, has been North Carolina's pressure defense, and to this point, Dartmouth's inability to handle that defense.
Well, here he goes again, the full court press, sort of a soft press this time. Here comes the trap, into the middle, that's a good pass. Now Dartmouth can run some semblance of a half-court offense from this point if they can pass the ball. Good pass into Kilroy. The ball was knocked out of bounds by Kenny Smith.
A little bit better ball movement that time by Dartmouth, and also a little bit better movement of the people away from the ball. That's where they've been hurt. They get into one of those double teams and everybody stands.
Okay, Dartmouth's ball. You're getting an end zone look here. That's how tough that North Carolina defense is. The drive, up, no good. Sam Perkins tips it. Matt Doherty comes away with it. Kenny Smith. Ball just tipped out of bounds by Scott Schroeder. Schroeder, a 6'4" sophomore. I think he's going to have some good years in front of him.
Very good hustle by Schroeder. He's the person that took the shot down at the other end and was flat on his back as Carolina started their fast break. He did a nice job to get back and get a hand on the ball.
Inside to Perkins, right-handed hook again. Replay, 10 points for Perkins.
Perkins scored that right over top of Schroeder. Schroeder at 6'4" just cannot guard Perkins if Perkins can catch the ball that close to the basket.
North Carolina leading now by 21 points with 5:44. And here's another turnover. Sam Perkins. Well, he got the lead pass and it was all over.
What a move by Perkins. Very fluid, catching the ball, putting it up with one step. Nice job. Here comes the double team. Now Kilroy should not pick up his dribble until he's got a place to go, and instead he goes to Kenny Smith.
Matt Doherty misses. Michael Jordan. Jordan now with 17 points in the game. North Carolina stretched it to their biggest lead, 41-16. Dartmouth having a lot of problems with the pressure defense and the turnovers. 5:12 remaining. We'll be back in just a minute. North Carolina's season 5-0. They beat Missouri, UT Chattanooga, Fordham, Stanford, and Syracuse. And right now they are beating the Big Green of Dartmouth 41-16. Coach Reggie Minton of Dartmouth. Jordan 5 of 5, Dan, and that's from the field. Also 5 of 5 from the free throw line. What a night.
Sam Perkins has 12 points, so the two All-Americans from North Carolina certainly doing their job this evening.
Kilroy with the ball. Trolling against Hale. Dribbles to the wing, comes back, reverses. There's the good pass. Man open. Anderson was open. You know, Anderson's been shut out so far. And Brad Doherty with the rebound. Kenny Smith has 7 assists in the game so far. There's a zone against North Carolina, and Brad Doherty hits. Well, it really takes some steam out of your bubble when the big guy on the floor stands at the foul line and shoots away. 43-16.
Dartmouth tries to pack it back in, and North Carolina hits from the outside. And then as Dartmouth extends the defense, Perkins has gotten some points inside.
Well, that's a charge call.
Dartmouth continues to be unable to handle the pressure defense. Schroeder got the foul that time, but that's just indicative. The last 2 times down the court, Dartmouth has gotten 1 shot and 1 turnover, and that's been the story of the game. They have as many turnovers as they have shots.
4:11 left. Michael Jordan wants the shot, and he puts it down. Michael Jordan is hot tonight. Shooting over a shorter defense, of course, helps. Kilroy guarded by Hale. Across the midcourt stripe. Here comes Doherty on the trap. They have got to get some crisp passing going. I suspect that's what Coach Reggie Minton will be talking to his guys at halftime. The ball passed around. Drive by Schroeder. Schroeder looks. Pass cross court. And out of bounds. Another turnover.
You mentioned you wonder what Coach Minton is going to say to his players at halftime. Coach Minton has given us permission to go into the locker room at halftime, so we'll be able to get an opportunity to see what a coach says to his team who's down by 30, 35 points at halftime.
Michael Jordan going to try it from everywhere. Well, that's the thing. Coach Minton talked before the game about you really can't just cover the All-Americans on this team because the other cast of characters will kill you. But then if you cover everybody inside the paint, Michael Jordan stands out there and shoots the open shot. Jordan is 7 of 7 from the floor.
Dartmouth just cannot get the ball in scoring position.
That's a nice play. That's the best play on offense Dartmouth has pulled off. Number 30, Tim Hassett, with his 4th point of the game. Hassett, a 6'4" junior from Madison, Wisconsin. Michael Jordan to Sam Perkins, playing a little game there. A little 2-on-3. 14 points for Perkins. Perkins with the left-handed hook.
Good movement by Perkins through the lane. Got himself a nice little short hook shot.
2:34 remaining in the first half. It's a 49-18 lead, North Carolina. Popson, Cecil Exum, and Buzz Peterson coming in. Wholesale substitution. A couple years ago, Dean Smith had the blue team. That's where he take 5 out at once. Here's 3 out at once.
Joe Wolf also enters the basketball game.
Member of the Hall of Fame, Dean Smith. 7 times in the Final Four in the last 13 years. 13 years of 20 wins. That is really saying something.
North Carolina's changed the defense on that side out of bounds play. They went to a 1-3-1 zone.
A little safer, isn't it? Got a great hook in the lane.
Well, that's the first time Anderson has really had the ball in his kind of scoring position. It's a nice shot by Anderson, but they haven't been able to create that opportunity for it.
Paul Anderson, a 6'5" senior from Jamestown, North Dakota. He's got 4 points in the game, but really, leading scorer a year ago, second leading scorer on the team this year. He's got to get more points.
Dartmouth in the man-to-man. And a pretty good man-to-man. They did a nice job. They cut off the passing lane. North Carolina's players looks like maybe they're a little bit uncomfortable with one another. That's an unfamiliar lineup. Didn't really come and get the basketball.
Turnover that time committed by Joe Wolf, the freshman for North Carolina. Wolf out of Wisconsin, Kohler, Wisconsin. And inside out. There he is, number 24, Joe Wolf, 6'10", 215-pounder. Kohler High School.
Here's the 1-3-1 zone.
And they're going to shoot over it. No rebounding. There's the rebound by Wolf. Popson. Got a pop from the wing. Dave Popson. 4 points in the game. Another freshman. Dean Smith trying to get his youngsters in the game and get as much playing experience as possible. 51-20, North Carolina.
Problem that you have, these young fellas coming off the bench are so talented that there's very little drop-off in a game like this. I'm sure Dartmouth wonders what's going on.
Joe Wolf with the rebound. Steve Hale driving the ball on the wing to Popson. Basket is good, and he's going to the line for the three-point play.
That's really a heck of a move by Popson. You have to remember, this man is 6 feet 9 inches tall. He's running down. You get a look at him in the bottom of your screen, full speed down the court, recognizes the attempt to draw the charge, is able to move away from the player, score a running one-hander, and draw the charge all at the same time. And
it's Joe Kilroy's second personal foul. Dave Popson shooting only 37.5%, and there's the reason why he missed. Ball touched. Dartmouth's ball. I think that was a charity call on that one. 53-20, North Carolina leading.
North Carolina keeps the pressure on. There's no let-up. I think we're going to get a foul here on Hassett. That's exactly the call. Hassett trying to get away from the pressure, pushed. North Carolina will get the ball.
Coach Reggie Minton, an assistant at Air Force, before coming to Dartmouth, up in the snow country. Hanover, New Hampshire. This is the 1-and-1, of course. They'll be going to the line, and shooting will be Buzz Peterson. Buzz Peterson, 6'4", junior from Asheville, North Carolina, coming off torn knee ligaments from a year ago. Free throw shooting excellent, 83%. He'll have the 1-and-1 opportunity. I remember the expression on Peterson's face in the Virginia game last year during the regular season when he tore that knee at halftime. They took him out, wheeled him out on the stretcher. I didn't think he'd play for a while, but he's come back strong and looked awfully quick tonight. I'd say this is Peterson's best game so far. North Carolina, a perfect 9 for 9 at the free throw line. The scramble for the ball.
Dartmouth gets out of that double team.
A beautiful play back to Schroeder, to Anderson, who misses, and there's Burke, who puts it up and misses. Foul call on Burke. Brian Burke now with 2 personals. We'll go to the other end.
Dartmouth had a fast break opportunity, but Coach Smith was pleased at the way the Tar Heels got back on defense.
Number 12 on the team.
It's a tough pass for Anderson to handle. Hassett threw him the ball in a tough position. You could see it was a bad shot with his left hand. Then Burke with the rebound, but he had good defensive pressure against him. And then he goes over the back of Peterson in an attempt to get the foul.
Popson did a nice job of jumping straight up and not committing the foul on the shot. Here's Buzz Peterson at the line once again. And he misses. Rebound control by Dartmouth. Big Green brings it up the floor. Looking for a nice steady bit of half-court offense here. And they've got Brian Burke wide open on the weak side.
Going to get a foul inside against Dave Popson. I do believe he's battling inside for position with Anderson. I think that the problem that Dartmouth is having is that they rely so much in their offense on getting the ball inside to either Anderson or to Burke. And what North Carolina has done is they've taken that pass away. Anderson battles for position, but if he gets the guy behind him, well, the guy behind Anderson is 5 inches taller than he. So even if he gets the ball, he has a tough time with it. If he tries, they can't go for the lob because of the size differential, and North Carolina doing a nice job helping out.
Well, that hurts. Anderson, 89% free throw shooter, misses. North Carolina comes on the break. Exum puts it up and misses. Ball controlled by Ron Jones. Pass to Schroeder. Schroeder drives the baseline. He's open. Nice back door by Schroeder. That was a defensive mistake that time. 6 points for Scott Schroeder, 6'4" sophomore. And time is out. That's the end of the first half. Big lead by North Carolina, but Dan Bonner, the turnovers. What can you say? When you only get so many shots at the basket, keep giving the ball away, it's going to kill you.
Coach Minton said before the game it was the turnovers that he was most concerned about, and we saw he had very good reason to be. Dartmouth wanted this kind of a score with North Carolina having about 55 points at the end of the game. But North Carolina got that total in the first half simply because they were able to get so many extra opportunities. 7 men for the Tar Heel in scoring. We'll be back from Chapel Hill after you watch this. North Carolina leading by 33 at half, and here's the reason why. The statistics show North Carolina shooting, well, from the field, they're 23 of 32. That's 70, almost 72%. Now, Dartmouth is not shooting all that poorly. 50% is not bad. However, they're not getting that many shots. Only 20 looks at the rim. They've only got 20 shots at the basket, 12 fewer shots than North Carolina. So that's really, you're looking at the difference in the game there. They're not shooting that badly, but they simply have not been scoring or even getting a look at the basket every time down the court. And what balloons the average on shooting is Michael Jordan. Jordan is 8 for 8 from the field, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He has 19 points. Turnovers have really killed the Big Green. 19-5. As I said earlier, Dartmouth all season long in their first 6 games has been committing more turnovers. 19 turnovers, 20 shots. That's the story. Scott Schroeder, leading scorer for Dartmouth at half with 7. Burke has 5, Anderson 4, Hassett 4, and Kilroy 2. Only 5 men in the scoring column. 7 men for North Carolina scoring. As we said, it's Michael Jordan leading the way with 19 points. Perkins in there with 14, all from the field. Doherty has 6, Hobson has 6, and Matt Doherty has 4 points. Peterson 4, and Steve Hale has 2. We're set to start the second half of action. Coach Reggie Minton from the Air Force Academy in his first year with the Big Green of Dartmouth. Coach Reggie Minton was saying at halftime that Dartmouth should forget about the first half and just play the second half. And if you're a player for Dartmouth, you have to try to get out there and think in your mind that the score is 0-0. Let's go out and let's win the second half. You may not be able to win the game. That's probably out of the realm of possibility. But let's go out and do a better job in the second half. Let's handle the pressure better. Let's get better looks at the basket. Let's play better defense. That's what the coach was emphasizing at halftime, and I think that's what you'll see. Well, they've gotten out of the trap to begin with. Nice pass in the middle to Anderson. That's what they need more of. That's the Dartmouth offense. You get the good inside pass to Anderson. They were able to execute it efficiently that time. And Sam Perkins looks inside to Brad Doherty. That's just too easy a shot for Doherty inside. Dartmouth back in the zone defense. Burke thought Perkins was going to shoot the ball. He turned his back, left Doherty all alone about 7 feet from the basket. Tar Heels have laid off that trapping zone across midcourt. They're back in a 1-3-1 zone. There's the steal by Kenny Smith. His 6th steal of the game. He takes it. His first 2 points of the game. Kenny Smith, fabulous freshman. That's his first 2 points, but as you said, Paul, that's his 6th steal. He's got 7 turnovers. He's having himself a heck of a game. He also has 7 assists to lead the team. Dartmouth, little patience here, passing around the rim. Kilroy over to Schroeder. Schroeder back to Kilroy. Kilroy dribbles, looks to cut, puts one up. It's short. Ball bounces on the end line. Carolina looks tough in that zone defense. They've got a bunch of big gangly guys. They're all arms in there. They do a nice job staying on the balls of their feet, moving in the zone defense, keeping their hands up. Despite the fact Sam Perkins had a bout with strep throat, he's back in this game and has played a number of minutes. And he's in to start the second half. 59-24, North Carolina leading. Matt Doherty gets a foul call on Anderson. Paul Anderson was a little bit off balance. I think he was surprised by Doherty's quick move to the baseline, and as he went up for the shot, Anderson reached in. Anderson is a 6'5" senior, an all-Ivy selectee from a year ago. And Matt Doherty, the senior, 6'8" senior from East Meadow, New York, goes to the line. Now, Matt Doherty, a 71% free throw shooter. And his first one is no good. I jinxed it. Second shot coming. That is 2 of 3 from the line so far tonight.
at 3 of 4.
A lot of grunting and groaning going on out there on that free throw block out. Anderson did a nice job keeping Michael Jordan away from the basket, but it was in vain as the shot went in.
The shot taken by Schroeder is good. Scott Schroeder, a 6'4" sophomore from Brooklyn.
9 points now for Schroeder. He's been the one bright spot for Dartmouth offensively.
Great pass inside, and there's the height advantage.
Excellent pass inside by Perkins, but a great move by Brad Daugherty to keep the ball up above his head, turn to the basket, and shoot it without ever bringing it down in a position where a defender could get his hands on it.
Brad Daugherty has 10 of North Carolina's 62 points. Here's a little play they like to run. That's inside to Brian Burke, who's 6'5", and goes over Daugherty that time.
Nice pass by Collins. Jordan with the jumper.
No good. Tipped away. Kilroy with the ball. He'll dribble up. North Carolina has come out just a tad bit flat here in the second half, and Dartmouth has seized the opportunity. See if they can cut into the lead. 17 and a half minutes remaining from Carmichael Auditorium in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. It's freezing across the Tar Heels' fate. And there's another turnover.
What a play by Perkins. He just knocks the ball away from Anderson, then goes on the floor to get it, and now dunks it down at the other end. What a play by Sam Perkins. Nice ball movement by North Carolina.
Matt Daugherty looked left, saw Big Sam coming through the lane, and just handed it to him. Sam Perkins, 16 points.
What a play by Perkins.
No wonder he's a two-time All-American. North Carolina in a zone now. Daring Dartmouth to shoot. Ball to the top of the key. It's Kilroy. Joe Kilroy gets his first bucket of the game. And the score now 64-30. Kenny Smith controlling, the freshman. He's come right in this lineup, Ben.
Done a nice job for North Carolina, and that's a difficult position to play.
Finally, North Carolina. That's right. Anderson gets his hand on the ball, and North Carolina commits a turnover this time.
North Carolina back to the man-to-man defense.
Anderson tries to take it to Sam Perkins. He is fouled, but good. Buzz Peterson in for Matt Daugherty, and Perkins is going to get a rest. We got Popson coming in. Also, Jones comes off the bench. Ron Jones, number 24. He will replace Mike Collins, who started the second half at guard.
North Carolina is presenting a little bit different kind of problem for Dartmouth in the second half. They seem to be changing defenses down the court just about every time, from the zone to the man-to-man. Dartmouth has done a good job recognizing the switches to this point. They will have to continue throughout the second half.
This burly senior from Jamestown, North Dakota, 6'5", an 89% free throw shooter. Takes his time, doesn't he? And two are good. All right, North Carolina's cut the lead. North Carolina leading 64-32. Michael Jordan.
What a great move by Michael Jordan. He exploded off of that turnaround on his jump, got himself 3-4 feet away from his defender, but up in the air and made the basket. Great play.
Michael Jordan now 9 for 9. Schroeder out deep. That was a nice shot. Schroeder from Brooklyn. Pass Peterson into Daugherty. Brad Daugherty gives the assist to Buzz Peterson.
Once again, a nice play by Daugherty to keep the ball up above his head where there was no chance for a defender to get it, and then complete the play with a nice smooth shot.
At 6'11", he's got a field day out here tonight, Dan. He's really just jumping up and seeing nothing but rim. Hardly any hands in his face. 15:21 remaining. There goes Paul Anderson to the rim. He misses, and Burke gets the follow-up rebound. Brian Burke, 6'5", senior, 220-pounder from Warwick, Rhode Island. He had 35 points in the victory over Connecticut College. That was the first game of the season for Dartmouth.
Dartmouth's inside people are their main scorers, Anderson and Burke, and the size problem that they've had tonight has limited their effectiveness. Buzz Peterson with the bucket for North Carolina.
Buzz Peterson connects. North Carolina leading 70-36. Interesting enough, Paul Anderson and Brian Burke, the main men for Dartmouth, they played together. There's another tap steal. Jordan, midair to Kenny Smith. He takes it and jams. Whoa, that was quite a move.
What a display of athletic ability. Great pass by Michael Jordan. And Kenny Smith just pushed the elevator to a higher floor than Kilroy could get to and threw it down.
I think he bumped his head on the blue rafters in this place. 72-36, North Carolina leading Dartmouth. Against the zone, Paul Anderson misses. Rebound now, Brad Doherty.
And a very good outlet pass to Peterson.
There's Jordan.
Look out.
Oh, this crowd's gone wild. Buzz Peterson lead pass into Michael Jordan. Jordan has not missed 9 for 9. Jordan now with 23 points. We've got a 74-36 game. We'll be back to Chapel Hill in a moment. 74-36 game, North Carolina. Dartmouth about to inbounds the ball. Michael Jordan, 9 of 10 shooting so far. The second half, North Carolina, the same thing as a team, 9 for 10. Dartmouth is 6 for 9. We saw an incredible play just a minute ago. Most exciting thing has happened this game. Michael Jordan goes up on the rim. Here's Kilroy with the ball for Dartmouth.
North Carolina back to that trapping man-to-man.
Buzz Peterson gets the ball, throws it up blindly. A tap by Perkins, too far.
Tar Heels certainly have some athletic skills on display here. We've seen, particularly in this second half, some excellent passing off their steals that have created some exciting opportunities.
And you saw Dean Smith calling for his defense, going back to that trap at half-court line again. Buzz Peterson guarding Joe Kilroy. Kilroy ball over to number 24, Ron Jones. And there goes Kilroy. He misses. Perkins with the rebound. Team leader in that department. Pass cross court. Peterson. Nice shot from the wing by Joe Wolf, the freshman. Soft little jumper.
Carolina just continues to get Dartmouth off balance in the transition game. They moved the ball down the court very quickly by the pass. Got an easy shot inside for Wolf. Carolina back to the zone now. They switch the defense once again.
Brad Doherty getting a rest. Wolf in there, goes out and covers Schroeder, but Schroeder hits anyway. That's 13 points for Schroeder. There's the shot, Kenny Smith. The freshman hits his 6th point of the game. They're hitting 58% of his field goals so far this season.
Big Green has to do a better job getting back on defense. They've really got to explode back on defense to the lane and then build their defense out. North Carolina is just getting too many easy opportunities.
Schroeder got a good screen that time from Burke, and he shoots over top of it. That's 2 times down the floor. That's a good news for Dartmouth. A little careless passing that time. Well, let's see who wins the race to this ball. It's Matt Doherty getting the floor burn.
And he's also going to get a personal foul.
A lot of hustle. Brad Doherty coming back in. So is Michael Jordan, who's been out for the last 2 minutes, getting a spell. And substitution, Tim Hassett in for Gruniger.
Interesting pass, that time by Scott Schroeder. He was flat on his back and threw the ball over his head down the court. Very nearly completed it.
North Carolina's biggest lead of the game, 78-40.
Checks in for number 43, Brian Burke.
Anderson sits on the bench. Anderson is in, Anderson comes off the bench. And we have our 5 for Dartmouth now. Ron Jones controlling.
Brian Burke is the player who went out of the basketball game for the Big Green. Scott Schroeder started to go to the bench, but Anderson said, no, not you. They need him in the game.
There's the trap, the slap, the ball, Kenny Smith, Matt Doherty, passes to Jordan. You're not going to miss many of those short jumpers. And now the fans are into this game. Long shot by Schroeder, no good. Well, that's about the worst thing you can let happen. Michael Jordan called on the travel. He doesn't think so. You know, he's got such a quick step, almost a stutter. As a freshman, he had a lot of trouble with that. Referees called him on the walk. It's a 40-point lead for North Carolina Tar Heel, 80-40. We'll be back after this.
This ACC telecast is a presentation of Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions in association with ESPN.
North Carolina's done a great job in the fast break situations, and here's one reason why. Got a fellow like Matt Doherty making a great pass, and then Michael Jordan with a tremendous dunk.
Michael Jordan, 10 of 11 shooting, 25 points. And he has turned up the temperature in the Tar Heel State tonight. 40-point lead for North Carolina. Dartmouth turns it over. Here goes wholesale substitution again. Steve Hale in to handle the ball. Pops it in. Buzz Peterson stays. Cecil Exum is in. And also Joe Wolf.
It'll be interesting to see, Paul, if this is the last we see. Get a look at the second half field goal percentage. North Carolina getting great opportunities, obviously, and converting them. But it'll be interesting to see if Dean Smith leaves his starters on the bench for the last 11 minutes, 25 seconds of this game.
Here comes Steve Hale, who got some playing time as a freshman last year. He's a sophomore from Jinx, Oklahoma. Left-hander. Throws the ball inside. Shot taken and good by Dave Popson. Popson hits.
Assist by Steve Hale.
Popson, the freshman from Ashley, Pennsylvania, Bishop O'Reilly High School.
North Carolina back to the zone as they continue to switch defenses. Anderson working inside, trying to get some position.
There's Kilroy with the ball, guarded closely by Hale. Anderson, double team. Anderson thinks wise, puts it back out. Shot from the point, a brick. Kilroy from the top of the key, short. Anderson thought he'd tip it up and in. No good. Ball taken by Wolf. Cecil Exum. Cecil Exum. 6'6" senior. An unorthodox shot. He almost looked like he picked up his dribble on that.
That's not exactly the way you draw the fast break up on the blackboard, but the results are the same for North Carolina.
And we've got a call against Joe Wolf away from the ball. Joe Wolf, 6'10", freshman from Kohler, Wisconsin. That is his first personal foul. Second team foul for North Carolina this half. North Carolina's all-time scoring game back in 1973 against Dartmouth. Should be 128 points against Dartmouth they scored. There's quick hands again. Joe Wolf. Steve Hale dribbles the ball. Top of the key. Thompson into Wolf. Taken away. Here comes Ron Jones. Passes off to Kilroy. Kilroy puts it up, and he gets the bounce. Kilroy averaging 8 points a game so far. Nice shot by Joe Wolf. Wolf has really exerted some muscle here the last couple of times down the court. 86-42, Carolina lead, 9:37 remaining.
The Tar Heels don't give you a chance to rest. Dartmouth scores a basket, and North Carolina's right down getting an easy shot seconds later.
Well, that transition basketball certainly is killing Dartmouth. Let North Carolina run like they've been tonight.
Carolina substitution number 51, Timo.
All right, here's what the fans in Chapel Hill have been waiting for. Number 51, Timo Mäkinen from Lahti, Finland, comes in for Dean Smith's Tar Heels. Mäkinen, a 6'11.5" junior. He missed the entire 1981 season with mononucleosis. He's going to come in and try to mop things up for the Tar Heels. It's 9:21 remaining, 86-42 Tar Heel lead. And hand on the ball there by Joe Wolf. Controls the rebound. Here comes Steve Hale. Hale back to Wolf, who hits.
He's got a nice outside touch for a big guy. That's a couple of times now he's come down the court in the fast break situation and hit a 10-15 footer.
Joe Wolf averaging 60% of his shots from the floor so far this year.
Carolina back to the man-to-man.
Got Cecil Exum in there. Buzz Peterson applying pressure on Joe Kilroy. For the shot, Kilroy thinks twice. Passes inside. Ball blocked by Timo, and that'll send the fans into hysteria. Timo Mäkinen called for the foul.
Rick Lewis, number 31 for Dartmouth, recently in the game. I'm sure wondered what was going on inside. He got the ball inside, was triple teamed, but tried to force it up and was fouled by Mäkinen.
Got Dave Popson coming back in the game. Joe Wolf will sit down. 8:31 to go. Dartmouth behind, 88-42. There's a steal by Hale. A pass inside, an easy one. Dave Popson has 10 points in the game.
You'd think Dartmouth would know by now, Paul, that on that out-of-bounds play, North Carolina is going to trap the inbounds pass. The Tar Heels have been doing it the entire game, and it seems like each time they do it, they get the ball.
Paul Anderson in the lane, puts one up and good. Now Anderson has 10 points in the game. He's been averaging 17.8, so he's under his average, and that has hurt Dartmouth.
He hasn't really been able, as we have a kicking violation on Ron Jones. The thing about Anderson is he cannot bring the ball up the court and create opportunities for himself. The guards haven't been able to get him the ball, and so therefore he hasn't had a chance to show his skills tonight.
Brian Burke comes into the game. We've got an official timeout. 90-44, North Carolina leading. We'll see what happens.
This ACC telecast is a presentation of Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions in association with ESPN.
Paul Cameron along with Dan Bonner at Carmichael Auditorium. You know, Dean Smith, the first thing he wants is a victory. The last thing is running up the score, but Steve Hale has played a marvelous brand of offense and defense on both ends.
Now you got to look there at Steve Hale setting Carolina's defense. We have a basket inside by Buzz Peterson, but Steve Hale as the point guard, you notice North Carolina scored as he's going back up the court. What he was doing there was calling the defensive signal, so North Carolina would know what defense they were in this trip down the court.
North Carolina is 18 of 19 in the second half from the floor.
And back in the zone defense.
92-44, North Carolina. There's Anderson outside who misses. Ball kept alive. Kilroy, nice pass to the wing, and it's Tim Hassett on the wing. Tim Hassett now with 6 points. 7:08 remaining. 92-46.
Dartmouth in a man-to-man, trying to pick up the pressure a little bit. Good back
He selects him. Sees Buzz Peterson cutting backside. Peterson puts it up.
Now Dartmouth ought to take a lesson from that. North Carolina's been pressuring them the entire game, and only once that I can remember did Dartmouth exercise the backdoor option. North Carolina bingo right away when they got the defensive pressure, and they got a layup.
One thing about Dartmouth in this half, Dan, is that they have at least worked the ball in a little bit closer to the hoop. Not committed so many needless turnovers at the half-court line. That was Paul Anderson. Shot will count. Paul Anderson now with 12 points in the game. He'll go to the line to try to make it a three-point game.
Not to take anything away from Dartmouth's second-half performance, Paul, but we have to point out that North Carolina was no longer pressuring in a full-court situation in the second half. They've been applying pressure on the half-court level, and Dartmouth has been able to handle that much better.
6'5" senior Paul Anderson, very deliberate in his free throw shooting, and he makes it a three-point play. North Carolina 94-49. We'll see selection. Back to Steve Hale. Now again, I mentioned Dean Smith wants the victory, number one, but the last thing he wants to do is roll up the score, and he's playing some of the reserves here to give the freshman time, like number 24. That's Joe Wolf, who misses rim altogether, and Dartmouth control. Here's Paul Anderson, who is blocked by Cecil Exum. Anderson rebound, puts it up. No good, he's fouled. He'll go to the line. Joe Wolf's second personal foul.
It's interesting with Anderson. You're going to see Anderson on a pass from Chris Lynch take a shot that's probably out of his range. Exum blocks it. Now watch Anderson as he gets inside. You can see with that little dip move that he has some inside moves. Dartmouth has to be able to get the ball to him in that area, in the colored area right around the hoop for him to be at his best, and he just hasn't had that many opportunities tonight.
Paul Anderson 3 of 4 from the line tonight. He is 89% free throw shooter. A year ago averaged 18 points a game. This year averaging just under that, 17.8 points per game. He has 14 tonight. Almost a lane violation there by Cecil Exum. Yeah, they did call it.
It was a lane violation. The reason they didn't call it right away is if Anderson makes the free throw, there's no violation. And so the referee's not going to blow the whistle and call anything until after Anderson has had the attempt.
6:06 remaining. North Carolina leading by 43 points.
Oh, good ball movement up the court. Wolf dropped the pass under the basket, but North Carolina did an excellent job getting the ball up the court quickly on the pass. Very nearly had a layup.
Field goal shooting, 42 of 52 for the game. That is lights out, 80%. From the end line.
They've been getting very, very easy shots. A lot of layups off steals, a lot of fast break situations, a lot of transition baskets. And so that 80% shooting percentage isn't really that surprising based on shots like that. That's a very easy shot.
Great ball movement there. Dave Popson winds up with a free shot, and he connects. Popson with 12 points. 96-51 game. 5:35.
Carolina back to zone, and look at how hard they're working, even with this big lead.
That's Brian Burke, who's been very quiet here in the second half. He was about everything in the first. Joe Wolf pulls up, a little bit short. Ball rebounded by Schroeder. Schroeder takes the ball. 17 points for Schroeder, and there's Anderson. All right, let's see what happens here. Joe Wolf dribbles, good man, holds still, telegraphs his pass, it's knocked out of bounds.
I'm sure Coach Smith was just satisfied that Wolf got it up the court. That's tough talk. Young fella's got a lot of ability, but I don't think his future is in handling the ball in fast break situations.
Aaron Hill comes into the game for Dartmouth.
Get a look at Dartmouth coming into this game, averaging 12 turnovers a game. They already have 27 this evening. Hale missed that one from the corner. Schroeder continues to play a good game for Dartmouth, brings down the rebound.
New face in the North Carolina lineup is Cliff Morris, wearing jersey number 20. He's a 6'3" junior from Durham. And there's another foul call.
Morris picked up that personal foul. North Carolina had switched back to the man-to-man defense.
Cliff Morris, his first, the team's 8.
Morris's first foul, and it'll be a 1-on-1 shot. Andy Gruninger going to the line.
Some other basketball games. Duke off to an excellent start, leading Colorado 41-34 in the first half.
And you can see Wake Forest and Marquette immediately after this game. Notre Dame, the Irish, leading 27-18. That's in the first half. Free throw no good. Alabama State trailing Arkansas. 87 Hogs, 15-11. That's in the first. As Cliff Morris goes to the hoop, he's taken out of the play. Schroeder blocked in. They call the ball out on Cliff Morris, number 20.
Morris made a nice quick move to get around Lynch on the baseline. Dartmouth did an excellent job of defensive help. Morris left his feet, didn't have anything to do with it, was fortunate to get the ball back.
Timo time again. Timo Makinen comes in for Joe Wolf. Yeah, if he does score, this place will indeed go wild. 96-51.
Dartmouth begins to work some of their subs in the game now. 25 is Aaron Hill. 22 is Taylor Conlon.
There's the alley-oop. Led just a little bit too much, but the foul was called. Popson got pushed in the back.
Now, I think they called the foul on Popson.
For pushing off? Well, we're going to the North Carolina line.
We'll see who goes to the free throw line. It will either be Hill or Graninger.
Number 9 on the team.
Well, it's going to be Schroeder.
Scott Schroeder will be at the line.
What happened in that play on the alley-oop, Schroeder had his position established, and when they threw the ball up in the air, Popson does not have the right to come and jump over Schroeder's back if Schroeder's already there. And that's what the foul was called.
Free throw missed by Schroeder. He selects and drives, pulls back. In the middle to Timo, who lets the ball go through his hands. Collective awe from the crowd. Andy Gruninger in and out. Schroeder gets the rebound. Scott Schroeder tipped away by Wolf.
It's an excellent defensive play by Popson. Schroeder with a nice rebound, trying to take it right back up. He had Makinen beaten, but Popson did a nice job helping out. Here's the trap again.
Well, things have gotten a little sloppy here. Fight for the ball. They're going to call a tie-up.
Official timeout.
And the arrow points in North Carolina's direction. 96-51. 3:49 remaining. North Carolina just about to put the wraps on their 6th victory of the year. Tar Heels top ranked. We'll be back with more after this.
This ACC telecast is a presentation of Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions in association with ESPN.
Our next ACC basketball game will be Tuesday, December 27th at 7 p.m. The Gator Bowl tournament in Jacksonville, Florida. The Jacksonville Dolphins will be challenging the Villanova Wildcats. Exciting basketball action continues at 9 o'clock with the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest playing the Auburn Tigers. At 9 o'clock the following night, the winners will battle for the Gator Bowl title. We hope you'll be with us then. Carolina controls.
Timo Mäkinen had the ball 30 feet from the basket, and everybody in the crowd is yelling, shoot, shoot.
Well, they just like to see him get in a couple of columns. Well, as Cliff Morris goes to the basket, Chris Lynch is called for his first personal foul.
Morris does an excellent job coming to the basketball. A good hard cut. Then he's able to get it on the floor and get to the basket, forcing Lynch to try to step in, deny the baseline. Good call.
And Lynch moved to his man, and that's why the call was made. 3:25 left. Cecil Exum drives the lane and makes. 4 points for Exum tonight, 98-51.
Excellent move by Exum. He left Lewis standing there wondering where he'd gone.
Dartmouth's next game in the Siena Classic coming up in 8 days. Nice shot by Gruninger. North Carolina, the next time the Tar Heels will be back here at Carmichael Auditorium, believe it or not, almost a month, on January 18th. Not against Virginia, big game, so they'll be on the road. Aaron Hill called for that foul. We want to take an opportunity to thank the Director of Athletics at North Carolina. As you see Joe Wolf come in for Dave Thompson. John Swafford, the Athletic Director at UNC. Sports Information Director Rick Brewer. Cecil Exum going to the line. Also Coach Dean Smith. For Dartmouth, Director of Athletics is Ted Leland. Sports Information Director is Kathy Slattery, and Head Coach Reggie Minton. We thank him especially for allowing our cameras in at halftime. Cecil Exum, and there's 100 points on the night. The crowd loves it. Century mark, 100-53.
North Carolina back to the zone trap once again.
Aaron Hill got trapped off, ball loose, another turnover. There's Cliff Morris dribbling. He has the ball taken away from him. Loose ball again.
Some real action going on in there. Morris lost the ball but refused to give up on it. He took and actually punched the ball out of the hands of Lynch. The ball flew into the face of Wolf.
For number 15, Chris Lynch. Number 32, Andy Gruninger.
Dan Bonner, I want to thank you for working the game tonight. It's been indeed a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Paul. I've enjoyed it. Want to pass along our best wishes to everybody for the holiday season. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
And again, that package of basketball games coming your way in the coming months. North Carolina with the rebound. Rick Morris. Let's see if Wolf can hit. He does. Joe Wolf, 8 points. Freshman from Kohler High School in Wisconsin, 6'10". 102-53. Well, they won't set any records, I don't think, tonight. 1:56 to play. Really hasn't been any doubt about the outcome of this contest. North Carolina forcing the turnovers. Pressure, tough defense. That first half of play.
This game is probably going to be a good learning experience for Dartmouth. It's a game that obviously, if they look back on it, they're going to figure maybe they didn't have much of a shot going in. And if they can learn from their mistakes, they're probably not going to have to face pressure defense like that for the rest of the season. And if they can learn from their mistakes tonight, it'll help them as they build toward having a good Ivy League season.
Rod Yearwood put the ball up. Rebounded by Steve Hale, North Carolina. Ball out of bounds. And back in. Here comes Dave Popson. Popson in for Cecil Exum. 1:18 left. Foul on Yearwood. And Popson will go to the line.
Dartmouth foul on number 23, Rod Yearwood. His first, the team's fourth.
Excuse me, Joe Wolf will go to the line.
For the Tar Heels, number
Wolf
24,
was fouled.
Joe Wolf shooting 2.
This is his first appearance at the free charity strike tonight. He is 2 for 2 so far this year. Make that 3 for 3.
This has been a real opportunity for the Carolina substitutes to see action. Dean Smith took his starters out of the game with 11 minutes and 25 seconds left. They have not been back. North Carolina has developed a good rotation here in the second half with the substitute players who have played very hard.
Joe Wolf stands out. He's had a good game on both ends of the floor. Dave Popson as well for North Carolina. Kilroy fought hard. Schroeder, maybe a tad mismatch going against the Sam Perkins inside. Matt Doherty. Brian Burke's been quiet in the second half. Shot by Rod Yearwood. Yearwood with his first field goal. 41 seconds remaining. 103-55 blowout. North Carolina going to get their 6th win of the year. And another foul. Here we go with the 2-shot fouls inside 2 minutes. The thing that a lot of the coaches around people like Reggie Metton just don't like. Slows down the game a little bit.
It's a very unpopular rule. There is talk that they're going to eliminate the rule, go back to the old rule, that is the normal 1-and-1. I think that the Rules Committee lost sight of what they were really aiming at when they instituted that rule. They're trying to eliminate the fouling to try to gain possession of the ball by a team that's behind late in the game. And by increasing the penalty, they didn't change the basic fact that the team behind still needs the basketball. A reform of that rule might be, if it's a 1-and-1, give the team the option, as in international rules, to either shoot the ball or take it out of bounds.
Rick Lewis gets one of his 2 opportunities at the charity stripe. Another foul. It's 103-56. 31 seconds remaining.
And here's a perfect example of what we're talking about as we get a look at the North Carolina bench. The starters there: Jordan, Brad Doherty, Kenny Smith, Sam Perkins. But in a situation like this, with North Carolina ahead 103-56, well, they're going to take the ball out of bounds anyhow because it's not a 1-and-1. But had it been a 1-and-1, rather than go to the line and shoot 2 free throws, let Carolina exercise the option. Okay, I want to take it out of bounds. The flow of the game then continues.
Michael Jordan, high man tonight, 25 points. 19 seconds remaining. Hale forces a pass inside. Dartmouth will get one last chance here. Lead pass. Ball tipped up and in. That's Aaron Hill, a starter for this team all of last year. He's only seen substitute roles so far. 3 seconds. Timo Mäkinen. He misses at the buzzer. The crowd wanted to see Timo put that one in. Well, it's North Carolina's 6th straight victory, 103-58 over the Big Green of Dartmouth. We'll be back to Carmichael Auditorium with more after this. North Carolina defeats Dartmouth tonight by 45 points. Never any doubt in the contest, as the Tar Heels were up at half, 32-16. Michael Jordan, the high man in the game, with 25 points. Let's now go to Dan Bonner, who's courtside with Michael J.
Thank you very much, Paul. We're here at courtside with Michael Jordan. Michael, big win for North Carolina coming off the break. Did you prepare for this game any differently than another one?
No, not really. We knew we had to have our mind on the game and concentrate, even though it is Christmas holiday and all the students are gone. And, Dartmouth is a good team, and, if we're not up to plan, they might come in here and upset us, and that's what we had in mind.
You seemed to come out early in the basketball game with some pressure defense and take control right away. Was that the game plan?
Yeah, we just want to run our fundamental stuff, and we just put pressure on them and, keep them from doing what they wanted to do, and we did that at the first game.
Does it help North Carolina to play a team like Dartmouth to have this kind of a win at this point in the season?
Every now and then, we don't want to, emphasize on the beginning of the season playing a lot of teams that, are not able to compete with us, not sounding big-headed or anything like that. But, every now and then it is a good, concentration game where, it's rely on our concentration, putting the crowd out of the game and just concentrate on what we have to do and go out there and do the job.
Now, Michael, you personally had an outstanding game tonight. How do you feel about your season thus far? Are you pleased with it?
Yeah, I'm pleased with it. I had a slow start at the beginning, and now, I'm focusing in on my fundamentals, and I'm doing the correct basic things the coach wanted me to. And tonight, I just expressed that a little bit more.
Thank you very much, Michael. Back to you now, Paul.
Thanks, Dan. And Michael Jordan. Jordan, 10 of 11 from the floor tonight for 25 points. Sam Perkins, who we told you at the top of the show, was fighting the strep throat. He winds up with 14 points, Popson 12, and Wolf at 8. For Dan Bonner, this is Paul Cameron saying so long from Carmichael Auditorium. Let's go to Bob Lay at ESPN.